Just before the break, we shared part of my conversation with Hersh Goldberg Poland's parents about the grief they've been experiencing since learning that Hersh was murdered in a tunnel in Gaza. Here's more of our interview. John, have you learned more about Hersh's time as a hostage?
We have. So what we've learned is, at least towards the end of his captivity, and we don't know for exactly how long, Hersh and 5 others, Alex, Ori, Almog, Carmel, and Eden, were held in a tunnel 65 feet underground, a tunnel that was just over 2 feet wide and 5.5 feet tall. Hersh is 6 feet tall, so he and most of the others could not stand in this tunnel. There was hardly any air, no light, no plumbing, no real floor. I mean, it was a dirt tunnel. The 6 bodies were found in a tunnel that had 6 narrow mattresses that we can only assume that when they were able to get any sleep, they would line them up head to toe, because that's the only way they could possibly fit. And we know the conditions in which these bodies were found. The bodies were found on Saturday, August 31st. The belief is that they were killed roughly 2 days earlier, on Thursday, August 29th. All of them had multiple gunshot wounds, and all had suffered severe weight loss. Hersh, who, as I said, was just about 6 feet tall, came out at 115 pounds. Eden, a 5'5" woman, 24 years old, came out at 79 pounds. And on and on and on. Similar stories across all of them.
We also know that in the tunnel, they were surrounded by bottles of urine that when they had to go to the bathroom, they would go in these bottles. And so there were many, many bottles of very dark urine showing how dehydrated they were. We know that they were starving because they were all completely emaciated. Toward one end of the tunnel, they had put a plastic bucket for, some sort of privacy when they had to use the bathroom, not for urine. The conditions are horrifying. And that is so much of, John was describing some of the what we know about what happened to Hersh, but we have spoken extensively to forensic experts who've sort of dissected for us the report of what happened specifically to Hersh. And it looks that, his left hand had been missing since he was abducted on October 7th last year. But it seems that when he was being shot, that he had sort of put up it as a defense, his both arms. So a bullet went through his right hand, through his shoulder, actually, then into his neck, and then out of the side of his head. It looks that then and supposedly he was standing crouched over, because of course he couldn't stand up straight because he was too tall to stand in the 5'5" tunnel. They think that then he dropped to his knees, and then he was shot with the gun on his head, the back of his head, which exited the top of his head. And he was found on his knees 2 days later, and Eden Yerushalmi was resting. Her head was resting kind of on his side or on his lap. And she had also been shot multiple times, as had all 4 others.
Rachel and John, is there anything else you want to say or you want people to know?
I mean, I think we're in the part of the Jewish calendar where we just finished very somber, serious. Rosh Hashanah is Judgment Day, and then we have a 10-day period between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement, which was just on Saturday. And, we have a very big idea of how does one repent when someone feels that they have done something not hitting the mark correctly. And the way that you do that in Judaism is when you find yourself in that same situation next time, do you choose to do differently? And we've had so many people say to us that they are so sorry and they feel so bad about what happened to Hirsch and these other 5 beautiful young people. And we have said to everyone, don't be sorry, go save the 101. And so as people from all over the world, people of power and influence from all different countries, people in the negotiating room, people adjacent to the negotiating room, I would just beseech you, go and get these people.
Rachel Goldberg and John Poland, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anderson.